Now we're finally ready to have our player enter and exit the car. So as a first step, let's drag a player.tscene back into our game and watch some chaos ensue. So first thing you notice, yeah, the player's moving, but right now the current camera is my car's current camera. The other thing that you notice after a while is that I can't leave this game. When I hit escape, my car is resetting the scene and the player is grabbing control of the mouse again. So to leave the game I have to press Alt F4 to close the window. Now let's fix the first problem and go to our player script, and every time our player gets added to the scene, which means we're going to do this in the ready function, we're going to make the player's camera the current camera. So I'm going to get camera 3D, which I've already got a reference to, and write camera 3D dot current equals true. That means that if we've got a player and a car in the same scene, then the camera's going to be the one that the player's using. It's slightly better, but I still can't exit, and my car is moving at the same time as my player. So I don't want either of the process function or the input function on my car to run unless I've marked this car as being controllable, because we've got inside it. So I'm going to add another variable to my car, var controllable. It starts off being false because if we're a player, the car is not controllable yet. And then at the very top of the process function, I'm going to write if controllable, and take all of the code in the process function and indent it. Absolutely everything right down to the bottom of the process function, and hit indent so that nothing runs unless controllable has been set to true. And I'm going to do the same thing for my input function. I'm going to write if controllable. I'm going to take all of the code in the input function and hit tab so that this code also only runs if the car is controllable. And because the car is not controllable at the moment, I should get a car that doesn't move. I'm back to having a player character. That's pretty nice. But you might notice a few odd things still about the game. For one, the engine sound is running even though I'm not in the car. For the other, my crosshair has disappeared. And the third thing, I've got a speedometer, but the speedometer is not moving because I'm not in the car. So let's tidy those up. We'll go to our car audio stream player and we'll turn off autoplay. We won't turn it back on until we enter the car. Then I'll go to my main scene and I'll unhide the crosshair so we can see the crosshair on the screen. Then the only one left to fix is this speedometer, which I'm actually going to tidy up a little bit by grouping our speed label and our speedometer and our needle under their own control so that we can unhide and hide all of those things at the same time. So I'm going to click on canvas layer and add a new control. That's just the empty green one. I'm going to rename this control to vehicle HUD, heads up display. Vehicle heads up display, and drop my speed label and my speedometer into that vehicle heads up display. While we're here, there's one other thing I want to fix, which is that if we change the screen size at the moment, the speedometer doesn't follow us down to the bottom corner. You might not know how to change the screen size in our game yet, but if I click this button, I can change it from being a fixed size to stretch to fit. Without that, you might have tried to full screen your game and notice it doesn't get any bigger. But if I change this to stretch to fit, our game gets bigger, but the speedometer is not following me. So to fix that, I'm going to make sure I've selected my vehicle HUD and then go to Layout, Anchors Preset, and this is where I can change where those green marks appear on the page. I'm going to change vehicle HUD to full rect, and then that takes up the entire screen, and then the children inside it, I can click on Speed Label, go to its Anchors Preset down in the Control section, Layout. Because this one's inside a vehicle HUD now, it doesn't have an Anchors preset anymore, so I have to change the layout mode from Position back to Anchors. And then instead of anchoring this one to the top left, I'm going to anchor it to the bottom left, and then it just needs to be removed a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the speedometer. I'm going to go to its layout section, It's also been changed to a layout mode of position, so I'll change it back to anchors, and then I can change the anchor from the top left to the bottom right. Again, I just need to adjust that slightly. And now when we full screen the game, each of those different parts of my speedometer has gone to its respective corner. Now we can hide our entire vehicle HUD, and we'll be back to like a fresh game where our player's controlling everything, nothing set up for the vehicle until we enter the vehicle, which is what we're ready to do now. We're going to achieve this by having a prompt pop up every time our player comes close enough to the car. So to check that our player has come close enough to the car, we're going to add a proximity area, just like we did with the mines. I'm going to click on car and add a new area 3D. And I'm going to rename that area 3D to proximity. Now we're going to add a collision shape to that. We can just make this one a box because our car's fairly square. Add a box, and then just kind of drag it out to be about the right size for our player to be considered close to the car. Something like that. Now I click on my proximity area 3D and I add two signals. One is going to be for body entered. I'll click on that and add it to my car script on proximity body entered. Looks good to me. And we're already there. Proximity. Going to add another one for body exited on my car script on proximity body exited. And they should appear down the bottom of my script. The first thing that we're going to add into these signals is we're going to show and hide a prompt to enter our car. And prompts in Godot are called Label3Ds, and they look quite nice. Search for Label3D. That one there. I'm going to rename this one to prompt. And just like regular labels, we can set what text they have. We go to the text section. And I'm going to write E, enter, because I think E is probably a good key that we can use to enter our car. Then I'm going to drag that prompt up above the car, and you'll see a 3D bit of text that's sort of just facing one particular direction in space, which is okay. You could read it so long as you're standing in front of the car, but the nice thing about Label3Ds is in the flags section, they've got this option called billboard, and billboard means always face the camera. So if I change that from disabled to enabled, then even in our 3D world, that prompt is always going to be facing me. Let's start with that prompt hidden. So I'll toggle that to be invisible. Then I'll go to my script and say that if a character body, body is character body 3D, enters my proximity field around the car, well then I need a reference to the prompt, so I'm going to go up to the top, drag in a reference to that prompt that we just created, that Label3D, and then if my body is a character body 3D, we'll show that prompt. Right, prompt dot show. Meanwhile, if a character body 3D leaves that proximity field on proximity body exited, do prompt dot hide. You might be wondering why I'm using character body 3D after we just went through all that effort to create a playable class, because in this case, if one vehicle comes close to another vehicle, I don't think that I want that vehicle to be able to enter another vehicle. You could still refine this by also checking that the body is in group playable. That way, if we ever add any other character body 3Ds to our scene, they will not be able to enter the car. Now we can check all of this out, and we get a player with a crosshair and no speedometer, and anytime it comes within proximity of the car, we get that nice billboarded Label3D telling us to press E to enter. For the actual magic of entering our car, I think I'm going to leave that to the next video. It's going to be swapping all of the settings from the player settings to the car settings. But this video is long enough already, so let's do that part in the next one.